The Harry disaster must be stopped. Not eliminating the Sussexes would make a mockery of the monarchy. We're making a few changes lately, and we really hope that you enjoy the new things that we are bringing. But anyway, now back to business. Last weekend, the press requested that the communications office at Kensington Palace respond to Harry's claims, and they refused to do so. And they also asked them to comment on the rumors that indicate that Harry and Meghan are not even living together anymore. And again, the palace said absolutely nothing. This lack of a response has many of us wondering what in the world is going on. I mean, has the royal family just lost their collective minds? Harry and Meghan, who has a lot of difficulty defining her own skin color for goodness sake, unless it's going to suit her agenda, they are still making these absurd claims against Harry's family. And we all know who's the guiding hand in all of this. It's Meghan. She's pushing Harry to embarrass and ridicule his own family on pretty much a daily basis. This can't go on forever, folks. I'm still just amazed that Harry simply can't see the damage that Meghan is causing, both to his family and also to him as a person. Harry is proving to everybody that he has a brain the size of a pea, but even more so that his little brain doesn't even function well. Harry's thinking about promoting that 5-part Netflix series, and so basically he's saying, oh yeah, everybody needs to be reminded of the power of the human spirit. Before being concerned with global problems, though, maybe Harry needs to remember that his wife is publicly humiliating him. He's not fooling anybody. I mean, Meghan Markle is definitely fooling him, but nobody else is fooled. Boy, Meghan gets him to say all kinds of stuff. Just an example. So he said, I found myself. I now need to get a glass jar, put myself in, and leave the lid open. My therapist told me you choose what comes in and everything else bounces off. What on earth is he talking about? Am I supposed to know what Harry's talking about? If you understand, please explain it to me. Maybe I'm just too old. And you know what? Maybe the people at the palace are struggling like I am to understand what he even means, and that's why, of course, they can't comment. But that's not all, folks. Apparently he thought he needed to clarify a few things, so he said, I was unable to cry, unable to feel. When it all came to fizzing out, I was bouncing off the walls. I was lying on the floor in a fetal position. I wonder if that was the same fetal position that Harry was in when he was lying in that dog bowl after William knocked him to the ground. Harry, honey, if you didn't realize it yet, I gotta let you know, Meghan Markle is making you look like an idiot. I'm pretty sure you don't have the first clue about what you're talking about. Releasing all of these absurd press releases is not a good idea. It's not making you look good. It's not doing you any favors. And Meghan knows what she's doing to you. You are doing whatever she tells you to. You're dancing to her tune, but you don't even know the song. All right, so let's discuss the rumor that Harry has moved out. Do you believe it? Do you not believe it? Let me know why. I know we've heard this rumor before, but honestly, folks, I kind of believe it this time. I think that maybe Harry is finally understanding one thing. He needs the help of his family, so of course he's going to try to get back in with them. And he knows that the only way back for him is without Meghan with him. Could it be that Harry is finally ready to act like a grown-up? I mean, he has been telling anybody who would listen that he wants to make up with his family, so maybe he's finally understanding how he's the one who has to do that. It is not the responsibility of his father or his brother. Maybe it's also beginning to dawn on him that he needs to stop trying to save the whole world. Nobody needs to be saved by Harry. Come on. I mean, he doesn't even help the people who really are in need of counseling with his word salad nonsense that's fed to him by Meghan. Harry needs to remember that he has never experienced a hard day's work in his whole life. He never had to make a living. He never had to pay a single bill. His clothing was always bought for him. His uniforms were cleaned and pressed for him. He's only ever had food prepared by professional chefs. I mean, Harry has been absolutely spoiled by his life of privilege and wealth. It's turned him into somebody who's just unpleasant, obnoxious, clumsy. One thing that's always really bothered me about Harry, and you probably feel the same, is that I don't think he understands how lucky he is. He acts like he had to work so hard in life to achieve everything he has, but that's not true. Harry has just been incredibly lucky because of who his father is, who his mother was impregnated by, and that's it. He didn't achieve anything on his own. And as much as Harry and Meghan are trying to convince all of us that their marriage is just fine, how are we expected to believe that when he and Meghan are constantly attacking the royal family? Just think about all the lies, all the contradicting information that Meghan and Harry keep sharing. They really are acting like a couple of 3-year-olds. I mean, they just won't shut up. They're kicking and screaming in the floor because they want attention for themselves. They just want to get a reaction. I do not envy them for a second, though. I mean, they have gotten themselves into the biggest mess. I don't think there's any way out. So this silence from the royal family is by far the best reaction imaginable. It is how the Lake Queen dealt with basically everything. Remember, never complain, never explain. Now she had plenty of advisors, and I'm guessing King Charles has the same advisors. And I know, I also get impatient sometimes, and I say, why won't the king just let it loose, just share all the info he has on them, all the dirt? But you know what? That's unnecessary. It would only make the king look bad, and Meghan and Harry are doing a fine job of undoing themselves all on their own. The king doesn't need to help them. And see, considering the fact that Meghan Markle is a narcissist, and maybe Harry too, silence from their target, the royal family, is golden. And that's why Harry and Meghan cannot be quiet. They don't understand how anybody could want to ignore somebody as important as they are. And they also just keep on digging this hole they find themselves in deeper and deeper. I'm still not sure why, but boy, they're in there with those shovels working hard. I'm just grateful that the royal family understands how to handle people like them. Now, I know the comments from Harry and Meghan have to hurt, but in the long run, it hurts much less and there's a lot less damage to the family than a slinging match would inflict. The royal family do not need to go tit for tat with those two. Now, there's a royal commentator claiming that the king is filling the Lake Queen's policy of not responding, and it does take a great amount of strength to do that. Many people are going to claim that this is him being weak. I don't agree with that. He's not weak. He's just showing that he's a dignified man, and he's not going to engage with these couple of bullies. The king understands the best way to deal with any narcissist is just to ignore them, to not respond. No communication, no comments whatsoever. Don't even acknowledge their existence, and that's really going to eat them up. The king has got a good head on his shoulders. He knows how to handle people, especially his son and his crazy daughter-in-law. He knows that a public mudslinging match would only be harmful to the royal family, and it takes so much class to keep one's mouth shut and to just walk away with the head held high. I'm sure you all have heard that saying, you can't argue with stupid. That seems to be something the king knows all too well. The expert also said that he has more important things to worry about than tittle-tattle. Again, 100% spot on. The king knows what's happening, and he knows that commenting on any of this is beneath him. He's head of state, goodness, he's not a gossip follower. I can assure you anything that is said is going to be a secret, and it's going to be a family matter, because that's what it should be. By refusing to engage, Meghan is just getting more and more irritated, and she's making herself look even more foolish. She really is poking the bear, though, with a stick, and she's failing to get a reaction. And as I watch her, I can only see that she's looking more frustrated. She keeps poking, and nobody's paying any attention to her. So no, I do not agree with people who say that the king is being weak. I mean, if he fights back, then that would be weakness. That would be taking the bait from somebody like Meghan. The palace is doing an amazing job of handling the gruesome twosome. They've got it right. And I know it cannot be easy to stay silent over 4 years against so many attacks, so many lies, the elder abuse. Now, Meghan Markle is now living in a state of permanent rage because she can't get any response from the royal family. And I don't know about you, but that makes me feel pretty happy. You want to know who I do feel sorry for, though? I feel sorry for her PR people. Whew, can you imagine how many plates have been thrown at their heads? I can just picture them crouching in fear, shouting about that her next rebranding is really going to work. And actually, the solution to this problem is in Harry's hands. He can be honest about Meghan. He can be honest about the stalking, the pregnancy, the paparazzi that she sent to her father, the invisible children, the lie fest they did with Oprah, the whole con job. He can tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, and I think he'll be set free. And then he can understand what peace really feels like. I know he's upset many folks, including me, but I think that you, like me, have an incredible capacity to forgive. That Meghan, though, she needs to watch it because she keeps poking at this hornet's nest, and at some point the palace is bound to get tired of it and they're finally going to say something, or maybe they won't. I'm convinced, though, the palace knows all about the invisible children, and they know what's going to happen when Harry and Meghan get divorced. I think the world is not going to be shocked or upset if we all hear that there never were any kids. In fact, I think a lot of us would feel relieved. If we learn that it was all just a con job that was dreamed up by Meghan, I don't think any of us would be shocked. And I don't think anybody would be angry either, because at the end of the day, why should we be angry about that? We were lied to. Oh, yeah, okay, who cares? That's already happened anyway. And they're not getting money for any kids, are they? Honestly, I think Harry and Meghan are doing such a great job of messing up their own lives. We don't have to do anything except sit back and watch. And you, do you agree with me? Please tell me your opinion below in the comments. If you think my video is helpful, don't be afraid to like and share with your friends and relatives who would also enjoy it. And don't be afraid to click the subscribe button to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in, have a lovely weekend, and we'll be back to see you all tomorrow.